Yes, guys, hello and welcome back to the Spurs-related YouTube channel and podcast. I hope everyone is doing very well. Hope everyone's feeling festive, feeling merry, enjoying the darts, enjoying the company, but perhaps not enjoying Tottenham Hotspur Football Club once again with a defeat against Liverpool. Let's be honest, a lot of us saw it coming. A lot of us saw another glum performance, but we're going to take you through that for about 20 minutes in this podcast. So if you don't want to listen to that about this game, skip to the next 20 and we're focusing more about the Crystal Palace match, which awaits us on Sunday evening after we've all eaten our turkeys and stuffed our faces. Or if you don't do any of that, perhaps it's just a nice bit of family time and Christmas sport time. But as you can see, I'm back joined alongside a great panel. We're one short today. I thought Dave might be able to join us to make a nice little Fantastic Four again, but it is just the three of us. It is Frank Thomas, aka Thomas Frank's AI son. Frankie boy, how are you doing, mate? Where's your Christmas hat?
I know. I don't know where I've put it. I think it's somewhere in my cupboard. I tidied up the other day, and I think I've put it away. I have to go and get it. But no, I'm all right. I think I'm gonna have to drop that AI son name as well at some point soon. Given how against him I am now, I think I'm gonna have to disassociate myself with him a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. And as you can see, once again, joined alongside, of course, Billy T. Billy, mate, how are you doing? I know you've been watching the darts today. How's things going, mate?
Yeah, I was going to say, mate, I'm, as we said last week, I'm even more into darts now. Just been brilliant. What a tournament, mate. I know we've been messing about it earlier today, but it's just so much more enjoyable than football, isn't it? Bloody hell.
Yeah,
can't even compare them at the moment. I'm absolutely absorbing in the darts and trying to give as much little brain my bandwidth possible to Tottenham at the moment, which is making me much happier.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we will keep it short and sweet today. Like I said, guys, around 35, 40-minute show. Hope you are enjoying it. Please, I won't plug it more than 3 times, I promise. Please hit the like button if you do enjoy these live streams and these Tottenham Hotspur videos. We are doing more in the transfer window, more transfer news, views, and rumours. And please turn on the notification bell if you want to see more of that and subscribe. All 3 are free to do so massively helps out the channel. But going to welcome in a couple of the people in the chat. I mean, sack that clueless clown, chicken, coward, fraud, says Darin D'Souza. I think you were in first time last time, and that was your only message last time, so maybe you're just doing the rounds on the Spurs pods. Logan saying, even fellas, big up to you both and a very Merry Christmas. Appreciate that, mate. Hope you have a great time as well. Merry Christmas to you. He says, sorry, including Billy T as well. Big up, fella. Well, we will get into the show. We will bring up a couple of things. But first of all, I've got to get Frank and Billy's thoughts on the game. So I'm going to go to Billy first. Billy, I know you weren't at the game yourself, but I'm sure you watched most of that game. Give me your first sort of top line of thoughts. What went wrong, basically? What went wrong?
A lot went wrong, and I do think there were some slight positives from this game, which we haven't had for a while in a lot of the games that we've been talking about. But I think the overall headline was the standard of refereeing was absolutely atrocious. One of the worst officiated games I can remember in ever. Some horrific decisions. I think, even saying that, I do think the red cards are probably right. Obviously, the main story is that we went down to 9 men and we lost to Liverpool, which is obviously pretty expected. But then the weird thing about it was, at 9 men, I thought we were the better team.
Crazy.
A bit of character, a bit of fight. There's obviously some big talking points in the red cards, bit of character. And my other thing, I just thought Liverpool were absolutely shocking, to be honest, mate. Yeah. I thought they were one of the worst teams we played this season. I think on a better day, 11 versus 11, we might have beaten them, which probably says more about them than us. They were woeful, but a bit of a strange one, because I think the 2 red cards is a kind of makes it a difficult game to analyse, because I don't think Thomas Frank's going to lose much credit from that particular game, just because 9 men v Liverpool. What can you do?
No, absolutely, mate. I felt like they were there for the taking. I really did. I didn't think they were.
They were awful, weren't they?
They really were, and especially first half, we had a lot of the ball. We were going forwards, but a couple of times, I could probably count it on 2 hands the amount of times Kudus went down the right and seemed to keep turning back, which was frustrating a lot of the South stand. Frank, I know you were there with me. Well, not with me, but in the South stand as well. Talk me through your thoughts on the game, mate. Billy's just summarised a couple of points there, but what was the most annoying thing for you as we're saying, because Liverpool weren't that good.
But they weren't. I think that's kind of. I was really frustrated watching it. I mean, first of all, but I'm not going to touch on it too much. The standard of refereeing was diabolical. I think the worst one of the lot was when Jed went down the line and Bradley literally just flopped on the floor, and just things like that. If it was the other way around, I don't think get given, and that frustrates me. But having said that, as you say, the red cards were reasonable. It was stupid from the pair of them. But it was just, I mean, the first, Simmons got sent off in the, what was it, the 35th minutes, right? Yeah. Around that sort of mark. The first 35 minutes or so before that red card was one of the lowest quality games of football I've seen all season. It was like so poor. The pair of us, both teams, like it was so low quality. And that was quite frustrating because, as you say, it's a big game. It's a chance to maybe get a bit of form back. They're not perfect at the moment. Under the lights just before Christmas, the atmosphere was one of the better sort of games I think I've seen this season. Weirdly, I think as a result actually of the red cards, I think that the fans sort of united a little bit together, which was the first time that sort of felt like it's happened at points this season. And it was just disappointing. It was disappointing. Obviously, the red card doesn't help, and I think we probably actually edged it a little bit once that little period of come and they got 2 goals quite early in the second half. For the last sort of 30 minutes, we were the better side, but I think that was because there was jeopardy on it and whatever, and that's again slightly concerning. So all in all, it's disappointing. I mean, maybe he watches this, but when I was leaving the grounds, I heard someone behind me. I don't know who it was, but someone behind me say, "I will take that result," and that's concerning to me. That's concerning to me that's kind of become. You know, I'll get onto it later on, but maybe
as a Liverpool fan.
Well, there's that, yeah, and there were plenty in there.
South Stand was Liverpool fans, wasn't it?
Yeah, there were plenty in there, but no, it was all in all, it was disappointing, really.
No, absolutely. No, I think you both made some great points there. Guys, numbers are growing. I'm going to make it as interactive as possible for those viewers watching and try and keep it festive and fun. And also, just as a reminder, if you didn't watch last week, I am going to do a quiz. I was going to do it as more of a Spurs Christmas quiz, but I'm going to do more of a big fat quiz of the year, a bit like they do on Channel 4. So I'm going to do a bit about the last sort of year or so. Obviously, some positives with the Europa League win, but some negatives. Maybe some little score predictions. See if you can remember some scores. See if you can remember some of the games. Some are forgetful, some aren't. Some are more memorable. So if you want to see that, please do smash the like on this stream, so I know that you guys are locked in for that. But Logan said, I'll be honest, we didn't even play that bad against Liverpool. Both teams were terrible, in my opinion, if that makes sense. We didn't play bad, but both teams were just terrible in general. So, yeah, stooping down the level. I do agree with that. Is it true that Solanke is out for even longer after another setback? I haven't seen anything. Bill, have you got any insider on that?
I've heard it, but not officially. There's rumours going around after the game that he was had another operation, but nothing official. So Thomas Frank today said what he's been saying the whole time, which was he's got no news on him with Kulusevski, which to me is a bit worrying because we're now basically in 2026. I just don't know what's going on those two. I wouldn't be surprised if Isak was back before both of them, to be honest. The way that the season's gone. So who knows? I mean, was it Musiala broke his leg or whatever he did, and then came back after.
ACL, wasn't it? He was back so soon.
Yeah. God knows what's going on with him. I give up even worrying about it.
Yeah, exactly. Let's worry about in the new year. But we have got Palace to talk about in about 10 minutes. So guys, lock in for the review on that. Preview. Spotlight and Spurs, big up, mate. What a bit of clobber that is from Bill. I was just saying in the lobby that Bill has got some absolute. Bill, give us a little show of that fleece.
Yeah, retro Adidas Spurs from. Hopefully we'll get a brand deal out of this, mate. Won't be for Spurs related, but Frank's Football. Go and check them out.
Big up Frank's Football. Frank's Football. If you want to do any little bit of partnership there, just reach out, mate. Just reach out. No, we got the followers liking it. Spotlight on Spurs. I hope everyone's well. I hope you're doing well, mate. I hope your channel's going well. Wonky 50. I can't remember feeling this disengaged in Spurs ever, and I followed them in the 80s and 90s, and that's sad. The bar is so low now that we think it's okay. Communication is poor. Players are average, and the manager is dull. Frank, I'll get your thoughts on this. I know you obviously haven't been supporting Spurs as long as Wonky 50 here, but I mean, let's be honest. Do you feel as disengaged in Spurs as you have done since you supported?
Oh, 100%, 100%. I was saying this the other day to someone, I can't remember who I was saying it to, but this is easily for me the most disengaged I felt in my lifetime. I mean, I think where it was different was at times under Mourinho and Conte and Nuno, we were awful. Because of Kane and Son, you felt like you still had a chance in games. Right now, I go into games and just genuinely don't have hope that we're going to win them, and that's concerning. I agree. I don't think some of the players are good enough. I'm not convinced the manager's good enough. I think the communication point's a really good point, because I think that seems to have slowed down. That Venkatesham came in the summer and we heard a bit for about a month or two, and then it's gone sort of radio silent again since then. And you know, the communication, like we spoke about with the injuries, you know, what's going on with Solanke and Kulusevski and whatever, and that's frustrating. I mean, the perfect sort of analogy for it is that, you know, if you booked a season ticket to go and watch a show every week, right, and you were promised DiCaprio and Brad Pitt and whatever every week, and the first one DiCaprio's unwell and so they put in some bloke from EastEnders, that's fine if it's a week. But if it keeps happening every week, you're going to have the and this is kind of what we're dealing with, is that you go every week or whatever, and you contribute to the club, whether it be time, financially, whatever, with high prices anyway. And you've then got a manager who complains at the fans in the way that they act, which is obviously happened in the last couple of weeks. And we're still seeing players that are really well and truly below par for what we want to be. And that is disappointing, really.
Yeah, no, I think you make a good point there. I mean, the only thing I'd say is I'm not an EastEnders fan myself, but I'm sure a few of our viewers are EastEnders fans. Frank, to be careful on the, Leo to EastEnders sort of drop off, although we all know that, there's a different golfing class there. Bill, I saw your TikTok about sort of Frank's comments, and, you made a joke out of it saying we've been through the trenches. Don't say I'm not a loyal Spurs fan kind of thing. Very, very funny. Go and check it out, guys, if you haven't already on Billy T's TikTok. But Bill, like just Frank saying there, are you a bit sick of like how Thomas Frank sort of comes out in some of these press conferences, and do you question some of the stuff he says in those interviews?
Yeah, I definitely do. I think, first of all, I think you just need to stop talking about the fans in general, because, as the Liverpool game showed, Frank mentioned it just now, that the atmosphere was unbelievable, even at 2-0 down. I think it was probably our best, one of our best home atmospheres of the season. And just sick of hearing about the fans, to be honest. I think they just need to move on and start talking about, taking a bit of accountability for how bad it's been. So, and I just, I'm no secret that I've got no faith in Thomas Frank left. I'm really sort of at the end of my tether with it all. But I just listened to his quotes. So it's got to that point now where almost everything that he says annoys me in some ways. So I'm trying not to even bother. I know he's just in a press conference today, hasn't he? But I'm trying not to even bother listening to it, to be honest, because I'm just... I find every single thing that he says annoying at the moment. But I do think it was really good that the atmosphere in the Liverpool game, even when we were 2-0 down, the crowd were really behind the team. So it just shows, Tottenham fans are not the problem. As far as I'm concerned, we never have been the problem. It's all, the players, the owners, the managers that need to take responsibility for this mess and leave us out of it.
Absolutely. Couple comments in the chat. Less known, big up with your Bale profile picture. Japanese train saying is a proverb. If you get on the wrong train, get off at the next station. The longer you stay, the more expensive that return trip will be. I like that.
Good shout. No, I like that one. So I've been trying to say that for the last few weeks about Thomas Frank, and now I can just say that proverb exactly.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the way the train prices are, I don't know what it's like in Japan, but certainly in England, if you go even 3 stops more, you're paying another 20 quid. Jackie boys in here saying, why would we sack Frank? He offers so much to this channel. Brilliant stuff. Logan saying, thing is, no good sacking Frank at the moment because there will be no plan. There's no plan at Tottenham at the minute, and it is worrying. I put a little poll in the chat, guys. Like I said, keeping it interactive as possible. Do you guys think that Thomas Frank should be sacked? Currently, we have 12 votes on that. I put it up only 2 minutes ago, and 80% of you are Frank out. So let me know if you are on that 80% or whether you'd even that up and say that actually Frank deserves more time. Because I have heard some people think he deserves more time. He deserves another window. He deserves a bit of patience. I've seen people compare it to Arteta when he was like sort of struggling in the first sort of couple of years at Arsenal, and then they sort of firmed it. Obviously, they haven't still won the league, but there's a good chance they will this year. So maybe there is an argument for patience. I personally am Do you know, I'm not actually. Actually, I think I lost my head on the other day. I'd had a few drinks and I just said, look, I'm frank out. I've had enough. But I try and keep a level head sometimes. And I think, I think what will we do if we do get rid of him? And that's my concern now is like, who would we get instead? He's still inherit the same squad. Are this ownership going to put in some money in the January transfer window? There's so many different questions. I do want to have a little quick talk about the transfer window at some point as well, because obviously we're going to do a lot more transfer window content coming up, guys. Obviously, the January transfer window opens next week. So plenty more content coming up on the channel. So please do stick around. And as I said, I'm only plugging it 3 times. So I'm going to use my second free hit here, making sure you're hitting the like button, guys, on this. It really does mean a lot. And turning on notifications and subscribing to the channel. I know you guys really enjoy the transfer window content. So we've got so much coming up. And as well, if you would rather not watch us, I mean, free all right looking lads. But I mean, if you want to listen as well while you're working, then please do check us out on Spotify, Apple Pods, and wherever you listen to your podcasts. And we're on there every single upload. But let's go back and talk very quickly again about the Liverpool game and have a focus more around the squad, the team that played. And obviously, red ratings there for Romero and a few oranges around the board. Only 2 greens from Porro and Bentancur, according to FootMob. As we know, some of these ratings are very, very off. I'll start with Billy on this. Bill, who were your standout players? I know we said that there was a bit of fight and determination at 9 men. Obviously, Richarlison came on and got the goal. Who was your maybe standout 1 or 2 players if you had to pick them? And who was your absolute stinkers, mate?
I think it's quite easy in this one, actually. I think the standouts were Jed Spence, who is a 6.8 there. Probably unlucky not to be a green, only a couple of points away there from being a green, who I thought was our best player by a long way. I was very unlucky to have some ridiculous decisions against Conor Bradley in the first half in particular. And then Richarlison, who came on and absolutely flipped the game on its head. Probably unlucky not to start in hindsight because he always scores against Liverpool. He has a really good goal record. He actually, as we've been saying in the last couple of weeks on this show, he actually has a pretty good goal record, Richarlison, this season. I think he's now 3rd or 4th top scorer in the Premier League. He's scoring most games. I know he scores most of his goals are consolation goals, but still, they're still going in. And Mawani obviously has not scored any in the Premier League or had a goal contribution in 600 minutes in the Premier League. So those 2 definitely for me. And in terms of the stinkers, you've got to go for the red cards because, really ruined the game, unfortunately. Xavi, I think it's just going to be a red card in this day and age, which is unfortunate because I don't think it should be a red card, but the way the game is now, that's always a red card. And then Romero, probably frustrated to get booked for the first one. Second one, you just can't do it on a booking, especially if you're captain, I'm afraid. A real stinker there. So those 2. And I think, without those 2 red cards, we could be looking at a different game.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, first half, Liverpool were there for the taking, weren't they, really? Even second half, they looked a bit vulnerable at times. Probably, I think Liverpool fans are saying, glad they got the
9 men.
Exactly. There was a bit of pressure at the end.
Didn't he? He couldn't believe it. How many chances we had when we had 9 men.
Yeah, I know. I've got to be honest, I left the stadium at about 75th, so I can't even comment on how we did with 9 men, lads. So I really had lost my head. My head was on Jupiter. But Frank, anything to add on Bill there? I know you find it hard to praise that Brazilian striker, but at the end of the day, he is getting some numbers, like Bill said. Top scorer in the league. Does seem to come on and score the goal here and there. I think I've said 8 Premier League goals now for Richarlison. What's your thoughts, mate? Don't necessarily focus on Richarlison, but who's your standout 2 and who's your woeful 2?
I'll start with him. I think he certainly makes an impact. There are certain games that suit him more than others, and I think games like that where there's something on it for him personally, I think he values that. He plays pretty well against Everton usually as well. I think those 2 games suit him in terms of his personal pride. I wish, listen, if you give him chances, he scores goals. I have no doubt about that. His movement's pretty decent and whatever. I wish he'd cut out some of the other nonsense at times. Like the ball goes in the back of the net. He's got Ekatike by the throat on the floor and he's shoving Szoboszlai and it's like, get on with it. Yeah. That frustrates me a bit. But he came on and he made an impact. And I'm not going to sit here and say he didn't. I thought Jed was superb. I think Jed's been probably the only one, I would say, that's been consistently pretty good for the last month or 2. I think he's been. I wasn't convinced that he was a top player. I think he is actually, and I'm a big fan. I thought Kudus was dreadful. and I thought Porro was dreadful actually as well.
The ratings.
Which is-
That's what I thought. Why
I
is
thought
Porro
that-
a 7 there?
I thought that right hand side was diabolical.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jed was the standout, and the other thing as well. I'm not sort of going at him, but if Frank is going to be here for a little while longer, which I don't know if he will be or not, but if he is going to be, he's got to find a way to use Lucas Bergvall.
Yeah,
because you can't just keep.
What was he doing there?
On the left, on the right, and just play him as a 10. He's kind of shoehorning him in different areas, and the treatment of both him and Tell this season has been pretty poor. I have to be honest, and that's part of the reason I think I'm kind of so against him now, is that if he did things that I could sort of cling on to and think that he gave himself the benefit of the doubt in certain things, then I'd be okay. But I don't think he helps himself, and things like the Bergvall and Tell treatment have. It's not like we've got a left winger that's flying and scoring a load of goals and whatever. And every time I watch Tell, he seems to make a little bit of an impact. So he's another one, the pair of them that he needs to work out how to use them both. Yeah,
no, I agree. Guys in the chat, little ones and twos in the comments now. We're going to go into talking about the Palace game, but give me a number 1 in the chat if you think we can get a good result, and give me a number 2 if you think it's yet another loss inbound, and then we'll get your score predictions in a bit as well. But while you're doing that, Luxo Ratto says, give Robbie Keane a crack. This is definitely Irish Hotspur on his burner account. It's got to be. I mean, I've heard Robbie Keane only once, and that was from Dave himself. But no, jokes aside, he's doing well at Ferencváros, isn't he? Over in I've had a Hungary, sorry. I've been there. I don't even know why I didn't know what the country was. There is no good sacking Frank at the moment because there'll be no plan. We've already read that. I'm having an absolute stinker today. Frank out. I feel bad for him because he seems like a good guy, but just not the right fit from the get-go, says definitely Mane. Definitely Maine. I remember you saying it's like rain. I'd say avoid Glasner for the same reason. Wonky's saying, ultimately, there's one question. Where do you see Spurs December 26 under Frank? I don't think it's better. You may as well move on now. Do you agree with that, Frank? Do you agree with that?
But I think ultimately, if you don't think that progression is going to come, then you're on kind of a pointless journey a little bit. It's
a Japanese train again, isn't it?
Exactly. That's the thing. If do I sit there in 5 years' time and think do I sit there and think if we stick with him in 5 years' time, we're going to be some super team? I really don't. I did. I don't now.
Yeah, exactly. Robbie Keane apparently has 2.2 points per game in 112 games and 2 super.
Unbeaten in Europe as well. Unbeaten in Europe.
Wow. One says Main Palace seem to be struggling lately. Luxo's saying things like playing Simmons from the right is where when he made a career coming in from the left. Yeah, it's weird decisions like that, isn't it? Jamie Burnell, hope you're well, mate. You're saying draw. We need to win though. And here's I want a drink from your wide eye. Goodness knows what that username's all about. Same old drama every season, almost like it's a staged event. Already the story's coming out about the Spurs tried to get Semenyo, but he wants to go into an elite team, just like clockwork. Tottenham propaganda at its finest.
Is that what's his face? I can't think of his name, but he's changed his name.
What's the point, FC?
That's definitely the one.
What's the point, FC? We love it. We love the comments from What's the Point FC. Always kind of makes me think I'm not the most negative Tottenham fan in the world. Less known one, 1967 at Palace. Holiday fixture, not good enough, mate. One more thing about this game. Well, not really related, but this is where we're now sitting, guys. 14th in the Premier League. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty dire. It's starting to look a bit like last season all over again, where sort of you've got that gap between 18th and 17th. But having said that, if West Ham get a win, it starts to become a bit scary with that 18th place. I mean, I think it's fair to say that Wolves are gone. I think Wolves are already in the Championship. But Burnley, I think they're probably gone as well. I mean, obviously, still quite early, but, we're not quite halfway through the season. But, if West Ham get a couple of wins, guys, and, Forest starting to do a bit better under Sean Dyche, I'm actually surprised Nottingham Forest are 17th. It's because they're obviously doing so bad under Ange Postecoglou. But I mean, if Forest and West Ham pick up a couple of wins, it starts to get actually a bit risky, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, we're sleepwalking towards relegation, whichever way you look at it, and it's been in the last 2 years, I think, in the Premier League, and overall we're 15th, which is crazy. So it's not just an anomaly anymore. It's easy for me to say. It's becoming a pattern, mate. And it's you just thought that last season you could kind of negate it because of the Europa League, but this might be our new reality unless we liven up quickly. We might become a second half table team, which is depressing.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like we had moments in the 2000s where we were sort of in this position a lot of years, weren't we? And then we sort of, in the sort of 2010s onwards with Harry Redknapp, we started to push it up, getting consistently top 6 and top 4. And now, obviously, slipping back towards that sort of same 2000s sort of finishes. Do you think, Frank, that this is something that is reflected on the squad? Frank, do you think we should be actually much higher up the stadium? I'm on the skywalk, up the table, or do you think that this is a fair reflection on how this squad is right now? Do you think Thomas Frank, how much more should Thomas Frank be getting out of these players? Is the question here.
It's a tough one because ultimately I don't think the squad is good enough to finish in the top 5. Maybe I think if when you add Solanke, Madison, and Kulusevski, you get closer to that point, because you could argue that 3 of our maybe best 5 players at the club, give or take, are out at the moment in those 3. So we are missing key players, and that does not help. But having said that, the best way I can kind of put it is I think that if these guys are coached right, maybe they are only a mid-table squad. Maybe that's what they are. I think they're probably a squad that can finish 7th or 8th in the Premier League. But I think instead of making them act like a mid-table club, which is maybe what they are, I think he's got us playing like a lower mid-table club. Yeah. And that's a concern to me that he's not getting enough out of them to get into the mid-table and to the 7th, 8th, 9th, that sort of area. With someone that's coaching him efficiently, that squad can finish 7th or 8th in the Premier League. And I'm pretty confident that, because I don't look at the worrying part for me of the lot is when you look through the Premier League, I think there are 2 clubs in the league currently that don't have an identity, or that you don't know how they're going to perform to whatever. And that's probably us and Wolves. I watch a Scott Parker Burnley team. I know that they're not going to probably win games, but they're going to sit in a block and that's how they're going to play. Or you go West Ham, Nuno, the same block. I turn up every week. I don't know what we're going to do. We're going to be open. We're going to allow chances, but we're going to sit quite deep. But no one really knows what we are. And he's had 6 months. You've got to implement something. And it's concerning that there's nothing there. With a squad that, whether it's good enough or not to win the title or get the Champions League or whatever, has players in it that have enough quality, and none of them are performing.
Clip that bit up. That's spot on. That's exactly how I'm feeling. Like just quickly, I don't want to give too many of my thoughts, but like the thing that's so frustrating is you go to the games where we looked all right, and that was away at Man City, and that was a low block counter-attack style of football, right? Where we sort of got them twice in the first half. I think we were 2-0 up in the first half, and then we got a third, didn't we? I can't remember if it finished 2-0 or 3-0, but we did well, right? But then we also played against Copenhagen, and we played this free-flowing attacking football where it was just crazy. Like it felt a bit like Ange Ball. And it's like those 2 performances, as well as the West Ham one, which was probably a bit more balanced. You've got 3 examples there where we've won 3 games in the first 2 or 3 months of Frank. And now I'm like, right, so which one are we? Or even if you have 2 plans where you have a plan A and plan B, I don't see that. And that is a concern. Bill, do you sort of agree here?
Yeah, big time. I was really excited at the beginning when we saw, the one for me is that PSG game at the beginning, that Super Cup game. I thought we were unbelievable that day, and I think, Jesus Christ, this is exciting. We're competing all over the pitch, we're battering them, we're really physical. Then we saw the same against Man City, and I thought, Jesus Christ, we might be on something here. And then it's like, that's gone. It's gone completely. We're not physical. We're not winning any duels against teams. We're not really doing anything. And what Frank said is absolutely spot on. I have no idea what our identity is under Thomas Frank. I don't know. The previous manager, we knew exactly what we're going to get, probably to a fault. We knew exactly what the formation would be, how we're going to play. This time, I don't know. I don't know who it's going to be. I don't even know if Thomas Frank knows, because he changes the team every few games. But there's just nothing. And the problem for me is there's nothing to hang on to. Like, there's no green shoots. There's nothing. Like, we're a real identity crisis at the moment, I think, Tottenham Hotspur. And As I want to drink from your wide eye, which is a name. It feels like a rude name, doesn't it? I don't know if that is like
I don't know whether I should
I don't know if that's a euphemism or not, so I'll say it one more time. But as they say, it does come from the top. It's from the board. There's no identity from the board either. It's just, we're in a bit of a mess. And obviously the latest news is that we're losing half of our key players in terms of Paratici and Matt Wells. So it's just a bit of a mess at the moment, isn't it? Everything is a bit of a mess. And we kind of hoped new manager, new ownership, in inverted commas, this wouldn't be the case. But 6 months later, here we are.
It's uncertain times, isn't it? It's uncertain times. Couple comments. Conscious of time, and I want to look at the Palace game a little bit more. If Andrews is in his position, given the third season, he would still be here, says Jamie. I hardly ever watch any of the games in full anymore. The disinterest is contagious and the attendance is dropping too. The fan base are getting sick of this. Well said, Frank. Agree, says Wonky. It's not about just about Frank, though. It's about the board deliberately trying to make us unattractive as possible in order to keep us down so they can generate the revenue without overspending. As Billy T said, we are sleepwalking into a nightmare and looking down rather than up. There you go, mate. You're getting quotes already in here. It's such a shame for the Premier League to have such a potentially huge club with a fantastic stadium and we're being held back by these owners. Every season is the same. And it's so boring and uninteresting at this point. We're in danger of becoming an invisible, translucent void of a club. And he's just confirming that it's not what, anyway, moving on. Right. So the Palace game. And guys, before I actually move on to the Palace game, because we'll look at this for 10-15 minutes. As I said, I know some more of you have joined since. I'm going to be doing a big fat quiz of the year, Tottenham style, which we will probably do at some point next week after the Christmas period. We probably won't upload tomorrow because it's Christmas Eve. We probably won't be uploading Christmas Day, obviously. We won't be uploading Boxing Day, but probably from the 27th or 28th, we will do some sort of quiz of the year. So keep an eye out for that, guys. Please give me a little one in the chat if you would like a quiz of the year. And some of you longer term followers will know that the quizzes on here are good fun. We'll get some good guests like Billy, like Frank, of course, but we'll try and get Irish Hotspur on, maybe Sean Spurs Talk Show and a few others. So if you want to see that, smash a like and smash the number ones in the chat. Hit the like and obviously turn on the notification bell to not miss that live stream and subscribe, of course, if you haven't already. He's loving it. But let's go on to the Palace game. And this is our head-to-head record against them in the last 6 matches. You have to wind back to 2023, where we saw a 4-0 win at Selhurst Park. I remember that being a very, very convincing win. Doing a little mini quiz. Can one of you guys remember who the scorers were that day?
Was that the one where Kane scored the absolute banger of a goal? Was that a different one?
I think this was the one Sonny scored. I know Sonny scored. My hunch is it was Sonny an own goal and Kane got 2. But I could be very wrong. That is
nearly spot on. Matt Doherty instead of the own goal. And you're spot on there, Frank. But yeah, it was a quick fire double from Kane in the 48th and 53rd minute, then Matt Doherty in the 68th minute and Son in the 72nd minute. So it was a second half rout.
Was it the one where Brian Gill played? I think it was, and I think he was quite good, and then we never saw him ever again.
Yeah, he did. Spot on. Incredible memory. Then 1-0 at home. I'll be honest, I don't really remember much about that. 2-1 away at Palace.
No, that one. That's Maddison and Son, isn't it?
That was Ange.
We won to go top of the league. We stayed top of the league.
Correct.
I thought we were going to do it. I thought we were going to win a lot that year.
Then we won 3-1 in 2024. I don't feel like these games are very memorable. I don't know if I've just maybe I've had a bang on the head or something. 1-0 Palace in 2024 at home. And then, we lost 2-0 in May when our focus was fully on the Europa League. So hardly surprising. So in total, we've had a pretty good record against Palace. Other than the last 2 games, we had 4 wins before that, guys. So, firstly, what's your thoughts on the game ahead on Sunday? And do you think we can get anything out of it? I'll go with Bill first.
Well, they're obviously Glasnow's improved them a lot lately. I know they're in a bit of a dip, but I think it's unfair to call it a dip because they lost to Man City. And then they had a poor result poor result at the weekend. But the game before that, they lost 3-0 to Man City, but they were in that game and they gave Man City a pretty horrible game, actually. And obviously they've been unbelievable under Glasner last 2 seasons. So I don't think it's going to be easy. I know they got Arsenal tonight. They got a really tough schedule as well because they're in Europe for the first time, and I think they're playing tonight, aren't they? And against us, obviously. So
at the Emirates tonight.
Yeah, the Emirates tonight, and then us on Sunday. Historically, I think we've got a good record against Palace, but at the moment, I think with the atmosphere at their ground, it's one of the best atmospheres in the country, and best home support in the country. The home there fanatics, and it'll be a tough game for sure. It'll be a tough game. We've got some decent players. And a normal run of the mill. I think somewhere we could go and get a win, but our form at the moment, sort of, you're dreading it, really, aren't you? Looking at that game, I think it's a real tough one. So I have no idea, to be honest with you, mate. I think it could be any kind of result, but it's definitely not going to be an easy one, that's for sure.
Sure, absolutely, Bill. And get your thoughts in on the score predictions. I'll give you 5 minutes to think about that and what you're going with. I know you do a little head and heart one, but Frank, I'm going to go over to you because I know we're talking about a couple of players we've identified, and you've identified Yeremy Pina as being one of the toughest opponents we can come against from Crystal Palace's squad. What's your thoughts on this player, mate? I know we actually spoke about him in the transfer window when he was at Villarreal and available, and he ended up going to Palace. Do you think we missed a trick not getting this guy, and what do you make of him?
Yeah, I mean, his numbers so far are quite low. I think he's only got goal and assist in the league. But we have an unbelievable talent at letting people sort of break ducks when they're not scoring goals. And so I imagine it kind of suits him. Sorry,
I've got to credit you. I forgot. You called the Isak goal. You called it.
Isak's goal and Vert's assist. I mean, it was so obvious, so obvious. But no, he's a good player. He's exciting. He's skillful. He's quick, and he carries the ball forward for him. And I think against Pedro Porro, who right now isn't in the best way, I think he's going to give him a tough game, and it concerns me. I mean, Billy mentioned earlier on the City game last week. They battered City, really. They absolutely
did. It's weird, 3-0.
Yeah. It's mental. They really ripped him a new one, and that concerns me. That does concern me because right now we are, especially without Christian Romero as well, which is another thing
And
that
Xavi.
Yeah, exactly. That you haven't got him, haven't got them, and so I'm slightly concerned for the weekend, to be brutally honest.
Okay. Bill, I put you on the spot before we went live as well, but pretty easy one to explain here, mate. Obviously, you've picked out Adam Morton as your player to watch for Palace. Do you think that this is exactly what Spurs need right now, especially as our midfield seems to be a bit of a mess and we don't really know what our best midfielder is, or certainly Thomas Frank doesn't know what our best midfield is? What do you make of Adam Morton's season so far, mate, and how good of a player is he?
Oh, he's an outstanding player. Every time I watch him, he looks unbelievable. Gets the ball, passes forward. Untold through balls, just a really smart player, defensive as well. Exactly the kind of profile that we need in there in the middle. Probably looking at 90 to 100 million pounds at the moment. So I don't think quite a realistic transfer target anymore, unfortunately. Not least, why would he want to come to us? But it's just that bit of quality in midfield, which we just don't have at the moment. We don't have that kind of player that can get on the ball and dictate things, which he will do if we give him space. So could be a good game for Palhinha to put on Wharton, because I think if you can stop Wharton, you can stop Palace pretty well. He's that important to them. So, but just what a brilliant player he is, and something that we really missed out on signing, I think. When he came from Blackburn, I don't think we're probably going to be in the race now because, he's probably going to have the pick of the big clubs for him in the next couple of summers. But yeah, brilliant player. Can just get on the ball and dictate the whole game. So we might have to put someone like Bentancur or Palhinha on him this week, I would have thought.
Yeah, absolutely. It'd be interesting to see who they use to combat Adam Morton. But guys, in the chat, let me know if you have anyone else that we should be identifying as a player to watch. But while you're doing that, I'm going to quickly check the Thomas Frank in and out poll that I put on YouTube. And actually, it's closer than you think, guys. There's about 35 votes. And Frank out is 65%. And Frank in is 35%. So it proves that it's actually not as cut and dry as the majority of the fan base. Well, technically it is the majority of the fan base on here. But actually, 35% of our viewers are still Frank in. So maybe those that are saying Frank in, let us know your thoughts, because that will be interesting as well. Because actually, at the moment, most people are saying Frank out. But anyway, I'm I'm going to get this guy's score predictions. So while you're letting me know those Frank inners, while you're Frank in, also whack your score prediction into the live chat, as well as hitting the like button and turning on the notification bell while you're down there and subscribing. We're actually 5 away from 4.4K, so please do subscribe. And evening to you, Rob Plan. We are Spurs TV saying we are no risk of relegation. Same for the brilliant Alex Scott. Levy has helped steer out recruitment into the gutter. I'm Frank. Don't give an S. Give the board out. Get the board out. And Enoch says, well, we know his username. But Frank, I'm going to get your score prediction first, mate. And then we're going to do 5 minutes just very quickly talking about transfers because I've got a question for the chat as well. So, Frank, what's your score prediction for the Palace game, mate?
My heart, because I'll never go against Tottenham in that regard, is I'll say I think 2-2. My head's getting negative, put it that way. But I'll go 2-2 to try and be festive.
Festive 2-2. So positive of you. Billy T, I know you weren't confident as well, mate, but you never predict a loss, as we know. So what are you going for?
I'm going to go for a festive 1-1. Even less festive than a festive 2-2. I'll go for a 1-1. I think I'll take a draw right now if it was offered me. Yeah, that which is depressing when you think about it, going away to Crystal Palace. That's the state they were in.
Do you know what? I'm gonna buck the trend. I'm gonna go for a 2-1 Spurs win, although not feeling too.
At least we're all right away. We're better away than home.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
and also Palace are better away than they are at home as well. So their recent home form's not been as good. So maybe
2-1 Tottenham. Well, you heard it here first. But like I said, the last I'll get the viewers' thoughts on it. Stefan Everington always comes in at the last 5 minutes. He's like Matthew Everington's brother, just pops up. It's going to be a tough game. The problem is what Spurs team will show up. 2-2 draws, says Stefan. Hope you're well, mate. Rob Plan is saying, when we go out the FA Cup, season is done. We might as well get the interim until the summer. Do not trust Enoch 2.0. Just call me Dave White. I'll try and remember that, Dave. Adam Morton will be at Man City next season. Just you wait and see. Guys, if you've got more score predictions, whack them in the chat. But as I said, for the last 5 minutes, I want to quickly get Bill and Frank's thoughts on transfers as we move into the transfer window season. We're going to be doing a lot more videos on transfer window in the January transfer window. Like pretty much every other day, we'll have a piece of content for you, if not every day. So make sure you got your notifications on for that. And as I said, subscribe to the channel as well, please, guys. But Frank, the question I've got for you and Bill is, I'm starting with you, Frank. Who is the one signing that Tottenham Hotspur need in January? I know we probably need 3 or 4. I'm very aware of that. But if we had to pick one where we put down 50, 60, 70 million, who is it and why? Is it Semenyo? Because apparently he's available, but his buyout clause is only available for the first 10 days of the window, apparently, according to Ben Jacobs today. So what do you think is that summer signing? Sorry, not summer. I wish it was summer. Winter signing we need?
I think other than Pochettino, which would have been my number one, Semenyo is not going to happen now. I mean, my hunch is what will happen is he'll go to City and Savinho will come to us, whether it be on loan or something. That I think one of Savinho or Mamouche will end up a Tottenham player, because I think they'll sign one City, whether it be Semenyo or someone else. That's my guess, and I think that would make us better. But I think we're in dire, desperate need of a left back, badly, because they're running those two into the ground with Udogie constantly unfit. And I think they need a left winger. I think they probably need another striker as well. They need quite a lot. And so now it comes to this thing again, and not to go on it too much, but if you were to go to Palace and lose quite heavily, do you sit there and give him January, or are they going to give him players he wants anyway? Is it going to be a club thing that they're going to keep sort of pushing? So I don't know. I think one of those two at City, though, would actually end up a Tottenham player. I'm pretty convinced by that.
Got it. Interesting. It seems like we need a lot. Bill, I know it's a difficult question, but if you had to pick, let's go 1 or 2 signings. Who are your sort of top picks for January, mate, if we can get them?
I would love to sign Marmouche. I think that'd be a great signing. I'm not massively convinced on Savinho, but I would probably take it. I know it's going to be a lot of money for a player that doesn't score many goals. Marmouche, obviously, a much more of a goal threat. I think if we can somehow end up with Marmouche, that'd be a fantastic signing. I think the thing is, though, we need someone in the middle of the park. We need a midfielder badly. There's just not really anyone on the market. Anderson and Wharton, just not realistic transfers. Definitely not for January. So I hope we can pull out a midfielder from Europe somewhere. And one name I keep an eye on is Said Al-Mala, he's a winger, not a midfielder in Germany. I don't know much about, but I know there's definite interest there. A young German winger who scored 6 goals a season for Köln. Definitely someone that I know that we're after, but again, very young, high transfer fee. I think that would frustrate fans. Yeah, there you go. That would frustrate fans a little bit because it's, again, a prospect rather than someone who can come in. I think there's Jan Diamande, who plays for Leipzig, who's rumoured to have £100 million fee. He's 18, but he's not like a prospect. He's ready-made, already there,
Who's that? Who was that last one?
Diamande of Leipzig. He's only 18, but he's absolutely smashing it at the moment in Bundesliga. But he's not like an 18-year-old Odebear type player he'd come in and start. He's got the pick of, he could go to any club in the world at the moment, like Real Madrid are all after him. So I don't think that's realistic either. But I'd like a centre mid, to be honest. But if out of the names that we've been linked with, I'd be absolutely delighted with Marmoush if we can get one. I think that'd be a really exciting signing again for Tottenham.
I think another one. Sorry that I completely forgot saying about midfielders is Keith Smith in Holland. He's one that's been thrown around, and I know he's young. I think he turns 20 in January. But any time I've seen him a couple of times in Europe, I think they played Palace this year and stuff, and he looks like the real deal, real deal. And he's one that a little bit like when you see some of these guys, like when Bergvall and whatever, that I feel if we get them, granted it's probably not what we need right now, but I would be very pleased if they signed him. And I saw your link to that Nathan Decat as well, which is an incredible name.
Great name. What a name that is.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Nathan
and so I want
Decat, yeah, 2 to 3 words. Decat. What a player. Apparently he's really good.
Yeah, this guy. Right. He's only 17.
A lot of the players that we're getting linked with are the sort of Lange type 18, 20-year-olds, which I think, I'm fine with signing those players, but you have to sign quality as well. And someone in the chat's putting Semenyo there. It's just, he's politely declined us already, hasn't he? So, not going to happen.
He's an Arsenal fan. He's an Arsenal fan, apparently.
Well, he's Chelsea now, apparently.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's on classic football shirts and he's called it Chelsea We today. So,
Christ.
Now Chelsea have gone in for him as well today, haven't they, as well? So.
All right. Well, can't wait to not get Semenyo.
Doesn't matter either way because he's not coming to us.
Yeah, exactly. We didn't even have a chance to talk about the whole Paratici carnage and the fact he's.
We can talk about signings all we want, but we don't even have a director of football at the moment. So
he's going to Fiorentina, right?
Yeah, and they're bottom of Serie A for 1 win this season. So
I mean that's when you know our club's in the shambles, when he wants to go to Fiorentina, who are bottom of Serie A. I mean, are they bottom? Are they?
Yeah, they're like Wolves bottom as well. They're like
really.
Yeah, they're really
Fiorentina.
Yeah, they won one. They literally had their first win this season.
Oh my goodness! Wow. 9 points in 16. They are Wolves of Italy. You're right. Well, anyway, the player I was going to mention was Angelo Stiller, but I doubt he's available. But he's class. Like, he would be class as a midfielder. We've reviewed him a lot in the summer. I feel like he would be like that sort of class player that we need in the middle to sort of cement it all together. But I think you need more than one to cement.
It'd be nice. It'd be nice if he brought his manager with him as well. Take the pair of them.
True.
That I'd be up for.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to happen, though. Guys, there's 40 of you in the chat. Let me know who your ideal summer... I keep saying summer. I just want it to be summer. Winter signing would be. Let us know in the comments now and let us know in the live chat. We're going to wrap things up. Rex saying 2 assists as well for Said El Mala. Vina, don't know what you're talking about there. Goodness me, can't keep bringing these ones up on the funny to read it before I bring him up. The way he plays is fantastic. Where is David Harris? He couldn't make it today. Mr. Saying Semenyo. Why would Man City sell a player they just bought? Yeah, I can't see Marmoush coming.
I think that'll only happen if they get Semenyo.
Yeah, absolutely. Apparently he's a Chelsea fan. Mr. saying Defoe. Yeah, get Defoe and Ginola back. I'm sure they're
manager or striker or both for him, or a director of football. That's great.
Put Ginola as director of football. Why not? Summer signings: Poch, Ben Thatcher, and Pat Jennings. And we need a midfield player. We need a midfield of players with class and cohesion. What this squad doesn't have. Our DM is a top midfield goal scorer, 4 goals and 3 assists for Paulinho. And the answer is Poch and 200 million. Guys, if you have any more thoughts on the transfer window, please whack it in the comment section offline as well, as we are wrapping things up. Before we wrap things up. There's only 20 likes on this YouTube video. That is absolutely appalling from you guys. And I really appreciate all the comments today because it's been a great stream. But please hit the like button before you go. Please do it. There should be at least 50 likes on this stream. Turn on the notification bell if you are new to Spurs Related. We're going to be doing pretty much daily content on the transfer window, so stick around for that. Subscribe to the channel as well. We're 5 off 4.4K. And finally, once you've done the like and the notifications and the subscription, please also go and check out Billy T over on Twitter and TikTok. Bill, I know you're not really like planning content daily, but what can people see over on your socials, mate? And I'll put it in the description.
Yeah, just talking about how ridiculous Tottenham are at the minute, mate. Just I'm all about transfer windows. That's my favourite time. I love the transfer windows, mate. I love a rumour. I love going to the ICKs. I love reading forums and getting involved. So I'll be all over the transfer window as always, mate. That's my. I'm not like Steve Hitchen. I actually love the transfer windows rather than hate it.
Absolutely love it. Guys, I'm surprised if you haven't followed Billy if you're over on Twitter, but please go and check him out. Appreciate David for liking the stream. Everyone should be liking it. We're like now, don't hurt me. I won't hurt anyone. Don't worry, guys. It's Christmas. Frank, anything to plug from your side? I know you were doing your channel, but anything from your side, or just wishing everyone a Merry Christmas?
Yeah, that's all that good stuff. You know, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and hopefully come the new year we'll have a different manager in charge.
Wow.
Fingers crossed.
This guy's sick of Thomas Frank. The very last thing I'm going to say is the poll was 60% Frank out and 40% Frank in. So that just proves that this is a very fragmented fan base and it is very split at the moment. But guys, that is all we have time for. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment. We will be back next week for much more content related to the transfer window, related to Spurs, but also that big fat quiz of the year that I told you about, which will be great fun. So get your notifications on for that. And we'll see you for a bit of fun next week.
Very quickly. Not this is David Ornstein a minute ago said that Semenyo is now not going to Chelsea, which kind of, I guess, pushes the thing again. If he goes to City, then I think Mamouche or Savinho.
At least we're not the only rejected one at the moment, then. Thank God.
Exactly. Makes me feel better.
There you go. Guys, that is all we have time for. As I said, like, subscribe, comment. We'll be doing all the transfer news. Look, we can't get away from it, as Frank is doing there. And I think Billy's over on Irish Hotspur in 2 minutes. Is that right, Bill? So, guys, go and check out Irish Hotspur's stream. Little plug.
There we go. Robbie Keane, I think.
Yeah. Get his thoughts on the Robbie Keane stuff again. I would redirect, but I haven't got a clue how to do it. So go and check out Irish Hotspur's stream now and tell him that Spurs Related sent you. And we'll see you again very soon back on Spurs Related. Remember, as always, come on, you Spurs.